to the next story here. Next story, do we want to go to Diddy? I think let's go to Diddy since we're already in Florida and DeSantis is trying to get social media to be banned. So I don't know if Diddy would be supportive of this. I don't know if Diddy would be supportive of what DeSantis is doing with social media under the age of 14. I mean,
he would never have met Justin Bieber.
Let's read some of these stories. Guys, very, very weird things happen. Rob, can you play this clip? Out of nowhere, federal agents raid Diddy's L.A. and Miami homes, okay? The searches are part of an ongoing New York criminal investigation into the entertainment industry insider regarding allegations of sex trafficking. In an official statement, Homeland Security investigation said it executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation with assistance from HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. This follows from a series of lawsuits from women allegedly that Diddy abused them. Diddy wielded tremendous influence in the entertainment business during the 1990s and 2000s, and all the victims claim he abused his power towards sadistic ends, including violence, rape, and emotional manipulation. In February, a music producer alleged in a lawsuit that Combs coerced her into having sex with prostitutes. And by the way, if you got the video, just to show the video, and then I'll tell you what they found with his there's a bunch of things going on with this. Play this clip. Which house is this?
Perhaps being linked to a sex trafficking investigation.
Hills. Is that Florida?
We got some shots of a few people coming out of the home.
That's LA.
Those people have been detained. Now
Look
we're
at
trying
that
to still
house,
connect the dots.
Holmby Hills is the neighborhood where Michael
Jackson
Jackson
here
died.
that we're getting this information
Look at this
from.
Encino.
We were actually the first
Why would they
ones
go like
here.
this?
Look, I'll tell you why.
Different law enforcement vehicles at least. There are 3 Bearcats.
Two of his sons,
Two of his
sons too.
Really?
Yeah, 2 of his sons got jacked
here
up.
Before the crime
That's him.
Came up.
That's his son.
So we're just down
Why are they doing that to his son?
I mean, and well, think about it. Helicopter. These guys, all the reporters are there before this happened. This is a whole. There's a lot of weird stuff happening.
So the reporters were there before.
She even said it. She knew what was going on. They all know. They all know what's happening. But I'll let you finish.
All right, let me.
Because I have a couple of takes on.
Give me permission to read this next story,
so
and then
sorry.
I'll come to you. Let me do this.
Yell at me, Pat.
No, you need 15,000 subs, bro. Vinny, stop interrupting.
Hey, guys, he hurt me.
Next.
Unusual suspects.
Okay, video footage. Video footage.
I would never
shows...
interrupt PBD on the Soscast. Never.
Right.
Which I'll be speaking about today at 4 p.m.
Okay.
But go
There we
ahead.
go. So video footage, Christian and Justin Combs in handcuffs, which is what you just saw right now. But Diddy's private jet tracked to the Caribbean island of Antigua. Rob, if you want to pull this one up, which Diddy's private jet, Gulfstream 5, owned by Love Air LLC, was tracked to Antigua amidst raids on his L.A. home. And according to TMZ, the jet, which he has used for years, landed on the island, although it's unclear if Diddy was on board. Despite the raids, Diddy was spotted at Miami, Opa-locka, executive airport town we've used, obviously, pacing around the customs office. Reports suggest he was waiting on companions being questioned by federal agents. One source mentions he was said to be never cuffed or taken into custody. The raids conducted by Homeland Security as part of a sex trafficking investigation. So, Vinny, what do you have going on here?
And again, this is all allegedly, just like when with the terrorist attacks in Russia, everybody's like, you gotta wait, you gotta let the smoke clear and see what's happening. But if you were gonna ask me, like, it seems as if, and by the way, you know that the jet went to the islands. It's weird. Sex trafficking allegations, blah, blah, blah. You go next to the islands where Epstein's island was. It's kind of weird, which it's, the country has no extradition treaty with the U.S., so he can't get sent back here. But anyway, I think, this is me personally, people, when it's set up like this and they're grabbing people and the FBI and everybody's involved, I think people are looking for the tapes, okay? Think about all the footage that Diddy has on all these huge public figures who have been in his home during all these types of sexual acts, including minors, and people are panicking. Remember the Rodney Jones story that we talked about? PBD he brought him to court and was not disputed by anyone. Drugging minors, blackmail, sexual abuse, money laundering, sexual harassment. I'm telling you right now, with that type of like assault and and they hit every single house, they're looking for, he's going to be the fall guy. They're looking for all the shit that he has just in case it comes out. Okay.
So what you're saying is, you're saying that this is more
the powers that be.
This is more of he's like an Epstein guy that's held a lot of people accountable because he has videotapes on them with
100% black men. He's the guy, like he's the guy that had all the wildest parties. Think about this. He's the Epstein of
hip hop and all these fighters.
And I'm telling you, since I was young on the East Coast, he was that guy, and he's been that guy forever. There's a really weird relationship, and you guys could look it up. Clive Owen and him and all these people and all the deaths and all the Whitney Houston involvement when Whitney Houston came in and gave, I think it was Jennifer Hudson, a note, and she was trying to expose them, and then she drowned, killed herself, whatever that you want to call it. But I think it's a blackmail operation, but the question is for who? Like, he didn't come up with this stuff by himself. He's a puppet, but who's the puppet master? And who knows? Because they're not saying he's on that jet, but what if they put all the shit, all the tapes, all the information on the jet and they got rid of it?
Rob,
it's weird to hit every single spot at the same time.
Rob, can you do me a favor? And Tom, I'm going to come to you next on this. Rob, can you pull up for me 50 Cent's Instagram account? And then also if you can get that Cat Williams video. While you're doing that, I'm going to kind of show you guys a brief history of Diddy's history of controversies and allegations. This is according to Rolling Stones magazine, okay? So CCNY tragedy, 1991 celebrity basketball event organized by Combs at CCNY ends in tragedy with 9 dead. Overcrowding and inadequate security blamed. Combs settles lawsuit with victims' families. Jake Robles shootings in 1995. Altercation outside Atlanta nightclub leads to Robles' death implicating Combs and Suge Knight. Conflicting account emerged. Combs denies involvement in the shooting. Attacking Steve Stout, 1998. Combs assaults Steve Stout over disputed music video scene leading to criminal charges. Combs admits wrongdoing, sentenced to anger management class. Club New York shooting, 1999. Altercation in Club New York results in gunfire. Combs and Shine implicated. Combs acquitted. Shine convicted. Combs accused of bribing his driver. Scuffle with J. Cole, 2013 allegations. Altercation at MTV VMA party involves Combs, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar. Conflicting reports about the abuse, about the cause. Both parties deny a physical fight. Next one. Allegedly punching Drake in 2014. Dispute with Drake outside Live nightclub leads to alleged physical altercation. Combs denies punching Drake, maintains friendship. Fights UCLA coach, 2015. Confrontation with UCLA coach leads to altercation during practice. Combs claims self-defense, no assault charges filed. Gina Hooney alleges abuse, 2019. Combs' ex alleges physical abuse and mental manipulation during their relationship. Accusations of comparing her to Cassie and condoning abuse by Combs' circle. Cassie files civil lawsuit against Combs in 2023, alleging rape, abuse, and intimidation by Combs. Combs denies allegations, settles lawsuit for undisclosed amount. By the way, I'm not going to read all this. I'll just tell you all of them. Jane Doe sues for 1991 rape and revenge porn. Diddy faces third sexual assault suit in 1 week. This is 1990, 1991. Third Jane Doe files lawsuit. Tiffany Red writes an open letter corroborating Casey's allegations. Hulu scraps family's reality show. Cancels reality show featuring Combs and family amid sexual assault allegation. Multiple companies sever ties with Combs. Project compared to Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Combs settles with Diago. Sean Combs sues for sexual assault by Love album producer. Authorities raid Sean Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami. None of these stories even bring up the fact that we lost two of the greatest rappers of all time, Biggie and Tupac. Both goes back to him. Last night at midnight, 12:30, you know what video I'm watching? I'm watching my interview with Greg Kading. Rob, I'm going to send this to you with Greg Kading. When I showed Greg Kading, because my entire, any of these stories I've not followed closely, but if there's one story I followed, remember three people that events happened in high school that I clearly remember that impacted me as a kid. Magic Johnson getting engaged, Michael Jordan retiring, and Tupac dying. Those 3 events I clearly remember. And when I think about Tupac dying, and as a guy, just like somebody's curious about JFK assassination, I was curious about what happened with this guy. Rob, I just send you the exact cuts that I have if you want to pull this up. I brought Greg Kading in to find out, because I'm convinced, based on my research, I'm not in this world. I'm purely curious, just like somebody is with JFK assassination.
And who is he, Pat? Who is he?
Greg Kading was the leading investigator behind trying to find out who killed Biggie and Tupac, and then accidentally he finds out, but they don't have enough intel, and then they remove him from the investigation last minute, and they're like, no, you can go work on something else. Rob, if the video came in, if you can pull that up, there's just a lot of things with Diddy that, while he's looking at that.
And I wouldn't be surprised, but I would not be surprised if something happens to him in this thing. Because think about it. All the information, now all the stories, all these girls, everybody's coming forward. You're hearing about the Justin Bieber stuff. Now it's getting to a point, he has to be the fall guy. You got to be the fall guy. They got to find all the evidence because it's a known fact that he recorded everything. Just like Epstein. And can you imagine, Tom, you're hanging out and you get a phone call and you're, let's just say, like randomly speaking, you're Bill Clinton, who's been there 52 times, and somebody goes, hey, Bill, they just arrested him and everything's going to come out and he's going to sing like a canary. Guess what you do? Suicide his ass in jail. That's what happens. And and Cat Williams, I know we're going to get there, but Cat Williams said there's God's side, you're on that side, or you're on the other side.
Play this clip,
and that's what
and
it
then
is.
We'll go to the other one.
God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
The truth is the light.
Amen.
So this is Rob, I don't know if the clip ever came through or not. If it didn't come through, Tom, what are your thoughts on this whole story here with Diddy?
Well, there's a couple things. While I speak, Rob, can you look up Robert Kardashian suitcase OJ?
Tom, he's looking for 3 other things right now. So
sorry about
that. But go ahead, give your thoughts.
So when OJ was arrested and there was this big scene at OJ's house, Robert Kardashian walks out of the house with a what's called a suit bag.
Yeah.
Right?
After he got back from Chicago, right? Where OJ went to Chicago.
The garment bag. Yeah. Right? And so he's seen, that's it, right there, walking out with the garment bag, and they believe that was bloody clothes and a knife in there.
Yep.
And he was one of the attorneys, so he had the ability to walk into the house and leave. When I look at the plane, Diddy wasn't on the plane, but what was on the plane?
Exactly.
I want to know, are there laptops? Are there hard drives? If Diddy's not on it, something left from L.A. and went all the way to Antigua without stopping, and Diddy was, as they said, pacing around Opalaka in the customs area. So so just like this, when people get busted, there's people around you that are trying to protect you and are moving stuff. Maybe they love you, maybe they just work for you, whatever. But my big question here, okay, Diddy wasn't on the plane, but who or what was? Something left LA and went all the way to the islands without stopping. And right now, it's like smoke, there's fire. What happens is the longer you go in life, the more enemies you make in this sort of situation. And I believe Epstein had a long list of enemies. And like that sign on the wall, Epstein didn't hang itself.
Yeah.
Right? And so I look at all that, and right now, my sense is that, and you know me, words talk, numbers scream, but my sense is he's had a long life of controversy and a lot of enemies.
Do you think he's a not sloppy criminal, like a overly arrogant, untouchable, they can't do anything to me type of a criminal where he's like, they can't do nothing. Like, the type of guy that does the crime and then says, nothing can happen to me.
Like
I'm
Hunter
untouchable.
Biden. Like a
Do you
Hunter
think
Biden.
he's convinced he's untouchable?
Yes, because this is the psychological profile of most people over the course of their career. How did they get the Teflon Don? How did they finally get?
They wired a room.
But what was it? Tapes in what years? The last 2 years.
Yeah.
When he was arrogant and he was sloppy and he said things and they
About
got it on
Sammy.
the wiretap.
Yeah.
They didn't get a lifetime of evidence on him. They got the last 2 years where he was sloppy and arrogant because you've been going so long getting away with it. You're not as careful as you were in the beginning, and your enemies list is big.
Well, I appreciate the OJ reference, Tom, because when I heard he was on a plane taking off to Antigua, I was like, oh, shit.
It's like, oh, shit.
I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens
The
there.
white Bronco on the LA freeway.
Yeah.
So if
the
you
black
recall, this was about 2 weeks ago. There were more stories that came out about Diddy on the Tim Dillon podcast.
Yeah.
Vinny, 100% guilty. I was like, Vinny.
Yeah.
Tim Dillon, quiet for whatever reason. It's looking weirder and weirder and weirder. But listen, if you know anything about hip hop, if you know anything about rap, what's the record label that Diddy founded?
Bad Boys.
He's a bad boy for life.
He is.
We all know that.
Yeah.
What does that mean? talk about Suge Knight, talk about Tupac.
Oh, he's a gangster.
Could he end up on Death Row Records?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there.
Death Row, really?
Exactly. So, the Me Too situation, the reason that I wasn't like, yo, he's definitely guilty is because there's a spectrum on this. On one hand, you have the Harvey Weinstein stuff, the Bill Cosby stuff, the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Pretty fucking guilty.
Yeah.
And then you have the other stuff that's like, yeah, I don't know about that, bro. Andrew Tate, Johnny Depp, innocent. Russell Brand, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
So there's a slippery slope with this. So, on the Tim Dillon podcast, I was like, look, I'm not saying nothing. I've been to some of these Diddy parties, bro. I'm not trying to catch on invite. Here's the reality of what we don't know, nobody knows. I live in Miami. I've lived in Miami my entire life. I've been involved in the
Who said they've been
scene.
to some of the Diddy parties?
I have.
Oh, okay.
He has.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know girls that, so I have firsthand knowledge from girls that are like, Vinny, you have no idea. And I was like, I don't want to know.
So here's the deal. When you go to these parties in Star Island, I've been on Star Island before, told that story about Demi Moore. There's certain places you can go within the house.
Of course.
Or in the backyard where the party is. You don't get invited upstairs to the master bedroom. So you don't know just because you went to a party. I've been to the Playboy Mansion a few times. I was like, oh, cool, the grotto. I'm like, oh, what's up with the mansion? Yeah, you're not going in there, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you don't know what's going on in there. I've gone out with the Ciroc guys, the Rock Boys, plenty of times. Diddy's been in the club plenty of times. You don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. What we do know is something very weird happened. It went from startup to entrepreneur. Do you ever seen the video of what Diddy makes the call? It's the most famous video.
Yeah, he's like,
course.
Yo, nobody can stop me. I want this like hungry entrepreneur. I was like, dude, whatever he's on, I want some of that hungry,
Adrenochrome.
viable. There it is. Entrepreneur, producer, rapper. I'll be missed after Biggie. Mogul, Ciroc, billionaire, and then sexual deviant. Where did this all come in? Rapist? Sex trafficking? Where did it all come in? I think you're right. At some point, the power will go to your head. By the way, speaking of power, do you know who Diddy's mentor is?
Clive Owen?
Nope.
Who?
Roll the tape, Rob. You've interviewed him.
Who's the guy? His mentor?
Ray Dalio.
Really?
Ray Dalio is Diddy's mentor. Why? How'd this happen? They were both on some list, top 100 influential people, whatever it was, years ago. So Diddy's real name is what? Sean Combs. C. Dalio, D. They're next to each other in line. They become friends. Look, I'm not saying anything that Ray Dalio did. Zero. I have no clue. But Ray Dalio is his mentor. At some point, what kind of conversations they have. The bottom line is...
Where are you going with all this stuff? I'm trying to track, are we getting to a place?
Yeah, like, were you naked in a room in a bedroom?
Are you saying that Ray is linked to something with...
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying...
Like, I remember this interview.
Yes.
I watched this interview. I think Ray is... Ray is one of the smartest guys when it comes down to money.
Yep. And
he's probably getting close to him to learn. Anybody would love to go and learn from a guy like Dalio. I don't put anything with Dalio on this list. And we had a very interesting conversation that was extremely heated, but I think he's nothing involved in that kind of a mentor. Financial mentor is different than life mentor.
Sure.
Yeah. I want to categorize that because there's a big difference there.
Fully embracing.
Dalio also raised $100 million from multiple celebrities to go in a fund.
Yeah.
And so he sees a guy like that. Hey, have you ever thought about investing in stable money?
Are you anything else? Because I want to move on.
I'm not correlating the two. I'm just saying if someone is your mentor.
Because you've been going for 5 minutes. I'm trying to see where else are we going.
I'm stating
Tuesday.
Okay, no, but go ahead. So Ray Dalio. What else do you have after Dalio?
Well, you cut me off. I have no clue where I'm going at this point. What I'm saying is, look,
no, because when you're going, I'm trying to follow to see where you're going with your point because I'm trying to climax.
Okay.
And I feel like we're doing foreplay for 6 minutes.
Here we go.
Let's go. I want some penetration here.
Let me climax all over Diddy right now. The reality is this: it's a spectrum. When we talked about the Tim Dillon podcast, Vinny was like 100%, 100%. Cool.
I still believe
cool. In my mind, this is where I'm at. And then, Rob, I sent you some results of a poll. This has now gone from being accusations, the Tate stuff, the sex trafficking stuff. We've all learned they hit you with the sex trafficking stuff, the sexual allegations stuff.
These are two different stories.
No. Where I'm going is this is now being categorized from the Tate stuff, the allegations, to full-on Epstein-type stuff.
Well,
something different has transpired.
When all this goes down and your jet goes to an island that has no extradition to the U.S., you're telling people exactly what the hell's going on. Him on it or not, you know what that means? We can't send for it. That's whatever's there is gone.
Yeah. By the way, I love look what the audience says. I'm with them. So, in your opinion, is Diddy guilty? 4,300 people voted. 55%, 1% innocent. Innocent until proven guilty.
That Diddy's family's the 1%.
But the point is, the innocent until proven guilty. You're right. Let's see what happens. And let's prove it. This clip to me.
That's where I was going.
If you can go, Rob, to the video with. Greg Kading. And by the way, before you play this, can you go and type in Greg Kading so people can know who he is? Type in Greg Kading, go to his Wikipedia, okay? Greg Kading is right there, first account, zoom in. So here's who he is. American author, he's LA Department Detective, best on working on multiple law enforcement investigated murders of rappers Tupac Shakur and Biggie in the mid-2000s. Many credit Greg Kading and his LAPD task force for 2023 arrest of Dwayne Keefe D. Davis for the murder of 1996 Tupac Shakur. Guess who in the conversations allegedly offered Keefe D. $1 million to take out Tupac? Play the clip.
Believe behind all of this is Puffy. You've said this yourself with $1 million, whether it was $1 million, whether it was $500,000. Tell us a little bit about that.
What I believe happened with Puffy was that, again, I don't think he wanted this conflict to get worse than it already was. And if he could figure out a way to quell that, he would. In fact, we have a statement saying that Puffy had reached out to the members of the Nation of Islam to approach Suge Knight and say, hey, let's have a peace treaty, let's squash this thing, but Suge wanted nothing to do with it. So he was trying to get out from under this imposing threat, knowing that Suge held him responsible for the murder of his friend, and whenever he would come to LA, he knew that Suge Knight was trying to hunt him down.
Wow.
We have a reported incident, an investigation where Suge Knight had accosted one of his associates at a Christmas party in Los Angeles, and they beat the living shit out of this guy. He almost lost his eye in an attempt for these guys to gain knowledge about where he lived in Los Angeles. So he undoubtedly becomes aware of the fact that these guys are actively hunting me down. They're kidnapping, assaulting people. My life's definitely in harm's way. And so I think that out of that desperation and fear, he turned to the streets and said, can you guys kind of handle this for me?
What does that mean?
Because he knew
handle
that
it for me.
Watch this.
If you're going to deal with these gang members, then the best thing to do is get their natural enemies to do the work for you.
And is that the $1 million? $1 million was on the...
According to Keefe D, he says there was a kind of a loose conversations at Greenblatt's up on Sunset, in which Puffy allegedly tells Keefe D, listen, I'm gonna, whatever it takes to get these guys off my back, I need you to take care of them. He says we wanted $1 million. Diddy's like, whatever. But again, I have to couch that with the understanding that he was in fear for his life.
I fully get that.
Yeah,
I fully get that. So, but the $1 million is from him, but you don't know really if it's $1 million or it's $500,000.
I think it's just boastful talking.
Okay, got it.
You know, it's like if I see a really nice car that I like to purchase from you, and I just, man, I'll give you $1 million for that.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of like loose.
Difference. So how about the part where Zip gives him the gun? He says, listen, right now's the time to do it. Everyone's in town. Go to 662. Here's a gun that I have. He leaves it to him with the car.
Right.
He gives him the gun. And then afterwards, when they talk on a call, he says, was that us? And they're on the call together listening, and Zip says, yes, that was us.
Keefe says, yes, that was us.
Yes, that was us.
Yeah.
Keefe says that was us. And then he says, we'll take care, Zip says, we'll take care of the money. 6 weeks later, he's not getting the money. And, you know, he's finding out maybe he didn't get paid. And then afterwards, he meets with an associate of P. Diddy, Puffy, saying, yeah, we did pay. But Zip kept it, and then when they met, is that all been
so you see what happened right
that maybe he did keep the money or they did not?
So you can
pay?
pause it if you want to watch yours, but here's the point. The point is this: who died first, Biggie or Tupac?
Wow.
Who died first?
Tupac, right?
Tupac died
in
first.
Vegas.
Yeah. So where is Keefe? Where is he from? East Coast or West Coast?
Keefe, is he from West Coast?
Keefe is who called Keefe?
Diddy called him.
Diddy called Keith.
So
Why did he call Keith? Why did he call Keith? Because he got in contact that this is the guy that could take him out, and he's got a reputation for being involved in a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Keith just went to jail. According to AP News, can he go up? I think 2023 he went to jail, Rob. If you can go, when did Keith go to jail?
Very recent, right? A couple months ago.
So here's a guy that goes to jail. Tupac murder trial delayed. And anyways, there's an AP News that Keith gets arrested. So, but why would Keith kill Tupac? Why would Keith go out there and why would he do that? Why would he go do something like that? Would he do it for free? No. What is his animosity? A guy like that is going to do a job like that based on what? Go to his profile. Okay, right there. Last living suspect of 1996 drive-by shooting of Tupac indicted in Las Vegas on murder charge. But why would he do that? What's his motive?
Money?
It's either because Tupac said something about him, which he didn't, or it's because he's getting paid
100%.
to go take somebody out. So who paid Keith? So why is Keith going, but the guy that paid Keith is not going? Where is that involvement? So my interest, as much as these stories we read about, I still want to know what happened to the greatest rapper of all time. And I'm not happy with what this guy did. I think he took out both. Again, I don't know the exact. It's my opinion. I think this guy, based on what I've read and the investigation I've done, I think he was behind both Biggie and Tupac, and that changed the dynamics of hip hop. And I don't know. I'm not a. I don't even follow any of these stories. My pure interest was with what he did to Tupac and Biggie. And I'd like to get to the bottom of that because the guy's still around. I want to know what this guy did to those guys.
Yep.
Not a fan of what this guy did either, by the way.
Yeah.
Just some food for thought about hip hop. Like for our younger audience, under 30, I don't know if you guys have any idea how big that East Coast, West Coast beef was in the 90s. Communism had just failed. It was no longer communism versus capitalism. It was pre-2000. It wasn't as contentious as it was Republicans and Democrats. That wasn't a huge narrative at this point. Eastern, Western civilization, clash of cultures wasn't a thing really until 2001. In the 90s, East Coast, West Coast beef, Suge Knight, Diddy, Puffy, Tupac.
Talking shit at the Source Awards. Come to death row.
It was the number one beef in America. It consumed us. So everything that's going on there was the biggest story in the world at that point. So
anyways, apparently the CIA, there's a big story that came out where the CIA was involved with making gangster rap gangster so they would kill each other. That was a story. But anyway,
look, the point is, obviously, we're watching all this stuff to see what's going to happen with Diddy. But this guy's got a rap of just doing a lot of shady. I mean, it's unattractive, and even the demeanor. It's not hard to watch someone's demeanor on how they behave, and how they do certain things. We'll see. I mean, again, innocent until proven guilty, but there's something going on right now. We'll see what happened there.